All right, welcome back, Frank Demora. This is going to be part 2 for March the 21st, 2011. If this is your first time at my station here at the YouTube, please take advantage and download my documentary on Bible prophecy and current events for free. And the title is The Last Chronicles of Planet Earth. If you go to my website, www.bibleprophecyman.com, and once you're there, you'll see the front and you'll see the back cover of the book, and right below it is a link. You click to the link and you can download this documentary. It has all kinds of evidence, proof that everything that the Lord warned about is taking place, and the road is being paved for these last days events to take place. Now, I'm going to continue on. We already heard about Zechariah chapter 12:3 and how Israel is being caved in little by little, where all the nations are coming against Israel. And now I'm going to show you that the road is also being paved for this Psalm 83 war. That is the war where the nations that border Israel will be attacking, and we believe that will happen in part because of the process of the Middle East peace process is going to fall apart, and also because the Arabs will realize that they are not going to get back East Jerusalem completely by peace talks, but by force. And that this is one of the reasons why we see that the Palestinians have been arming themselves. And again, there's, just like I warned about last year, I warned in many of my posts that if you watch the news, you will see that the Palestinians are not going to give up lobbing in these rockets. I made this statement in 2007 or 6 when Israel had to go to war again with the Palestinians and Lebanon, because that they were throwing in, I believe, almost 7,000 rockets before Israel went in and stopped them. So I'm going to cover some of this news today that shows you the road is being paved for this Psalm 83 war that will be fought soon. It says this: facing the possible new conflict against Hamas. Now, Hamas is one of the organizations of the Palestinian faction that is destined, and in their charter it says that they want to get rid of Israel as a nation. So it's very difficult to talk peace with people who want to destroy you and won't even recognize your nation as being a legitimate nation. Let me go on again. It says, facing the possible new conflict against Hamas, concern is growing within the IDF regarding increased efforts by the Palestinian terrorist groups to dig tunnels under the border that could be used to infiltrate into Israel and perpetrate attacks. And according to the IDF, if you're new, IDF is Israel Defense Force. It says, according to the IDF sources, the number of tunnels has grown in recent years. Hamas is under orders to dig terror tunnels along the border. And then it goes on to say Hamas has split into 5 different regional brigades: North Gaza City, Central Gaza, Khan Yunis, and Rafah. The exact number of tunnels is unknown to the IDF. Tunnels have been used in the past by the Hamas and other terror groups to infiltrate into Israel. It goes on in, let me pick up a sentence. Palestinian terrorist groups in Gaza have made some major improvements to the military capabilities since Operation Leadcast over 2 years ago, it is understood. Now, again, this Operation Leadcast, if you don't know, this is the war that all the rockets, almost 7,000 rockets, forced Israel into the Gaza, and they also fought Lebanon during that time because the Lebanese started to fire in rockets into Israel. So Israel had to go in and mess around with the Lebanese as well as the Palestinians who were trying to kill them. Now, for a nation as tiny as nation is of Israel, it's the size of New Jersey. They're backed up against a multitude of enemies surrounding them. And so if they don't go in and to stop these terrorist activities against them, For sure, Israel would probably be annihilated, but we know that that isn't going to happen because God is protecting the nation Israel. We know that. And when the next war comes, the Psalm 83 war, they're not going to lose that war. They're going to get more land, and then it'll make way for this next war that's going to happen. But let me go back. It says the Palestinian terror groups in Gaza have made some major improvements to the military capability since Operation Leadcast over 2 years ago. It is understood. One of these improvements have been in missile capability with the addition of new long-range rockets like the Iranian-made Fars 5 that has repeatedly been smuggled into Gaza and can reach Tel Aviv. And there's other weapons that the IDF shows that they have. They're talking about these Cont missiles, and there's 3 different types of missiles that they're improved. Okay, so Israel is now being attacked, and we know just in this past weekend they lobbed over more missiles again into Israel, and it forced the hand of the Israelis to take action. And so let me give that information to you. It says this concerning this attack. It says the latest escalation in Gaza rocket attacks in southern Israel may lead to assassinations by Hamas military wing leaders, the IDF warns, with the army officials saying that they cannot discount this possibility. In other words, they want to go after the people who are given the orders to send these rockets in to Israel. Military officials made it clear that Saturday's barrage of some 50 mortar shells at the western Negev will not be ignored, adding that the Army's aerial attacks Saturday afternoon were merely the first bullet in Israel's response. In other words, Israel isn't going to sit back and wait for their people to get destroyed. They're going to go in after the people who are doing this. And as they do this, the world media takes the stand that Israel's the bad guys, and all that they're doing is going in to protect themselves so that they won't have more of these rockets. Now, listen to what I'm telling you. Israel responded after almost 7,000 rockets, and now they're not waiting for this amount of rockets. They're acting immediately when they start sending. Now, there was 50 of them here. I warned that this was going to happen. It is happening. I warned 2 years ago, right after Operation Leadcast. I said, yeah, the army was defeated. Israel came in and crushed what they were doing in the Gaza, lobbing these missiles and these rocket mortars into Israel. But believe me, they're going to rearm and do it again. And that's exactly what they've done, because there's no stopping these people. It's like a horse with the blinders. They got tunnel vision, and their vision is recapture Jerusalem. This is essentially what we see from Zechariah 12:3, where Jerusalem was going to be that burdensome stone. Goes on to say the IDF initial response included massive tank and aerial fire directed at some 10 Hamas targets, including outposts and observation posts. The Army's strike lasted for 45 minutes, and the IDF says that the Hamas men who manned various positions were hurt. The Gaza Health Ministry spokesman said earlier that at least one senior Hamas man was killed and 4 citizens were wounded in the IDF attacks. The army struck across the strip after Hamas and other terror groups fired dozens of mortar shells at the southern Israel earlier in the day. So, and I also have been warning that you better watch the news, because what's going to happen, we're starting to see more of these skirmishes between Israel and these factions of the Palestinian groups. And one of these conflicts may ignite into the full-blown Psalm 83 war. Again, we don't know the exact scenario, how it's going to develop, but we do know that we can see the road being paved to this war. And these are the very nations The Palestinians are the Phoenicians of the Old Testament who are in the Gaza. And they are named in the Psalm 83 war. And so is Lebanon, and so is Syria. And so we see the exact same people mentioned that are now coming against Israel. And this is, this is, take it for what it's worth. If you don't believe it, just watch with me as we see the developments progress. The peace process is going to get a lot worse. You'll see more news about the Israel being left alone and all the nations coming against them. You will see in the next couple of months, you're going to see more nations recognizing Israel. I'll put the red flag up right now and tell you, you're going to see more nations say, let's give the Palestinian their own state. And this is a byproduct of Ezekiel Zechariah 12:3. And so I'm giving you heads up from the word of the Lord. It's nothing new. God had already told us what's going to happen, but there's a lot of people who don't know Bible prophecy, and you need to know what to look for before it takes place. This way, when you see it happen, you'll understand God is truth. And only God can show us these things these many years in advance, and it's happening right now.